What if I told you you don't need to write code to become a data analyst? What if I told you that you can learn up to 5 times faster than the traditional method? And what if I told you that you can skip the grind of 500 hours of learning and still be ready in a fraction of that time? Sounds too good to be true? Stick around for a step-by-step guide. Hey, I'm Alex, and this is my second take on how to become a data analyst, but right. As you might know, to become a data analyst, there are two main pillars. First, learning the fundamental skills, usually through courses. Second, mastering these skills through portfolio projects. This is clear, but what's the problem here? Well, that's time to drop some truth bombs. Let's start with the holy data trinity, SQL, Python, and Tableau. To learn the basics, it takes about 300 hours, 100 hours each. Add another 100 hours for Power BI and 100 hours more for cloud stuff like AWS or GCP. This brings the total to roughly 500 hours. 500 hours of usually boring exercises. That's the bare minimum. Does that sound overwhelming? Wait for it. Let us get more precise. Here is another truth bomb. Most people cannot learn effectively for more than 4 hours per day. If you do more than that, the knowledge simply does not stick and you risk burning out. And I'm sure there are many of you who learn in the evening after your daily job, or even during the job. Well, this often gives you only 2 hours of learning per day, or even less. Can you see the realistic timeline now? Well, let's do some math. Let's divide the 500 hours by 4 hours per day. You're gonna get like 125 days in the best scenario. This is 4 months. This can scale up to half a year or even more, depending on your pace and life circumstances. And these are just hard skills. On top of that, you still need to build soft skills, craft a strong resume, apply for jobs, and somehow live your life. This might easily sum up to multiple years of preparation. So you might ask, Alex, what's the solution? Just accept the slow, tedious path of becoming a data analyst? Settle for many months of grinding the boring exercises? Some time ago, I'd have said yes, but not today. Today, there is a shortcut, and let us reveal it. Before you say a word, just stay with me and absorb the idea. You do not need to write code to become a data analyst. You only need to read it. Yes, you hear it right. No code writing, instead the ability to read it. Well, you might ask, Alex, how is that? SQL and Python are pure code, and even Tableau and Power BI require scripting. So how is that we do not need to write any code? Who's gonna write it instead of us? And the answer is AI. Large language models like ChatGPT will do it for you. It is already the reality for many technical coding positions, where most of the code is generated by AI, and engineers are just writing prompts. And let us be honest, data analytics is not that technical after all. It is more analytical. The typical code in data analytics boils down to data cleaning and joins in SQL, some more analysis in Python, and mostly drag and drop in Tableau or Power BI. Coding is not the point in modern data analytics. So what's the point, you might ask? Think about it for a moment. What would you focus on if you didn't have to code that much anymore? My answer is coding is just a tool for your analytical mind, which is your ability to ask the right questions and think critically. So to become a good data analyst, it is better to focus on developing that analytical mind instead of spending hundreds of hours trying to learn to write code. And guys, don't tell anyone I told you. Even me, someone with years of experience in data analytics, I barely write code anymore. AI does it for me. Tools like Microsoft Fabric handle the heavy lifting. That's already the new normal. That's the essence of data analytics today, solving problems efficiently without wasting time and energy on writing code. And please understand me correctly, I'm not saying you don't need to learn to code. You better learn it. Otherwise, how can you trust AI? How can you know if the AI gives you correct code in response to your prompts? Again, you need to master coding, but in a different way. Okay. You might be wondering, Alex, what does this imply for us? Those with 500 hours of learning ahead to become a data analyst. Well, there are direct implications, and this brings us to the main point of this video, which is how can we cut those 500 hours down? And the answer is, while learning to code, get to the point where you can read it, then just skip the writing part. And don't worry, AI will help you along the way and afterwards. Is it clear what I'm hinting at? If not, let's get practical. Here is a step-by-step guide. First, go on credible platforms like DataCamp, Coursera, or Learn SQL, and enroll in fundamental SQL, Python, Tableau, and Power BI courses. I don't recommend Udemy since it would look questionable on your resume. Although it is more affordable, it has rather low credibility. Second, focus on the first exercises. Learning platforms usually break topics into exercises. For example, SQL joins might have around 10 exercises. In the first few, the concept is introduced. Focus on grasping the core idea during these first few exercises. Third, do write some minimal code. In the initial few exercises, write some basic code to get a feel for it. Don't overdo it, just enough to understand the concept. Step number 4, skip writing code later. Once you have got the basics, stop writing code in the later exercises. Instead, hit that show answer button. Step number 5, analyze the solution. Carefully read every line of the solution provided. Understand what each part does. And if you get it, move on to the next exercise. Step number 6, seek help if needed. If you don't understand something, review the material or ask ChatGPT for clarification. Focus on understanding. The goal is not to write code, but to be able to read and fully understand it. That's it. Repeat these steps until you're done with all of your courses. For me, this approach speeds up learning by up to 5 times. Instead of spending a month on a 100-hour course, I can finish it in under a week. By the way, don't worry, this method still will get you a certificate of completion. But unfortunately, there is no magic pill. While this approach speeds up learning, it doesn't engrave the material in your memory that well, meaning that you'll forget things faster. Fortunately, there is a fix. Once you've understood the basics in SQL, Python, Tableau, and Power BI, focus on personal projects. This is crucial, guys. Firstly, you'll apply what you've learned so you don't forget it that fast. And secondly, you will sharpen your analytical mind, which is key for any data analyst worth its salt. And obviously, as a result, you'll build a portfolio to impress your future employers. Well, you might ask, Alex, doing your own data projects and building a portfolio out of it? This sounds complicated. Where do I even start? And how not to waste another 500 hours on it? Guys, I got it. Let me provide a step-by-step guide for you. Step number 1, as I preached, go through the fundamental courses, but focus on understanding the code instead of writing it. Skip the coding part once you grasp the concept and move forward. Second, if you're new to doing projects, don't stress. Aim for at least 10 projects in total. Start by replicating your first 1 or 2 projects from YouTube or platforms like DataCamp to learn the process and build your confidence. I've got a project like this on my channel where I guide you through everything: finding data, loading it, formulating a hypothesis, running SQL and Python code, and finally visualizing it in Tableau and Power BI. Replicate it and learn step by step from me. Although it is a project for beginners, Once you understand how it works, you can easily make it more advanced for yourself. And there will be more advanced free projects like this on my channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Step number 3. Once you have learned how to build projects, start doing it on your own. Go find a dataset on platforms like Kaggle. Get the data. Start your project by cleaning it using SQL and Python. If the data is already clean, make it dirty. Remove some values, corrupt some names, and then clean it up again using SQL and Python. All that to show what you're capable of. Then formulate a hypothesis and try to answer it with Tableau and Power BI. Follow my video for a reference. Step number 4. While writing your code, do it with ChatGPT together. Remember, in this business, it's your best friend and a mentor. Load a portion of your data into it. With the knowledge you have gained from your courses, you should know which prompts to use and understand what the resulting code does. If anything is unclear, ask ChatGPT to explain each line in detail and provide an example with a small dataset. You can see how I do it in my video as well. Remember, working with AI is now the new normal for data analysts, even for the experienced ones, so it's time to get yourself on board too. This will speed up things significantly. Finally, collect all of your projects into a good-looking portfolio. You can make it for free using Google Colab. I show how to do it in this portion of my video. Aim on 10 projects you could really proud of. That's it, guys. If you follow these steps, you will become a real hero of data analytics much faster. But remember, what we have talked about so far are just hard skills. Becoming a data analyst involves more than that. You'll need to work on your motivation, your credibility, your language, soft skills, and more. I cover all of this in my fundamental, all-time classic video on how to become a data analyst. Make sure you watch it right after. The link is in the description. So guys, what do you think? Does it all sound more doable for you now? Let me know in the comments below. I'll try to answer each of them personally. Let's get into data analytics, but right.